Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hopefully you are doing well. Thanks so much for joining us here today. Good morning, GoWeb. Hopefully you and Sanaya are doing well. Thanks for stopping by again. I realized that I started the countdown with about 20 minutes to go, to which you let me know that perhaps 10 minutes is a little bit too long oh, and my subscribe button is up there. 10 minutes countdown takes a little while. Yes, it does. I'm just going to check my audio real quick here and make sure. Yeah, okay. That's not too bad. Let me know how it sounds on your end. Hey, nobody here but us chimkins. Okay. How's it going, Chad? Good to see you. Thank you so much for stopping on by. Yeah, it's been a busy week so far. Not too bad it's not the craziest week that I've ever had, but it's certainly not the slowest either. So we want to discuss a couple of things here because I am at a bit of a crossroads where I need to make a decision about what we're going to do for like the next phase of things as we're kind of like moving forward with our production studio and a few things. Now, first things first is we're not sure about the next 6 months where we're going to be, where we're going to land, and necessarily if we're going to be in the same space the whole time or if we need to look at something else. And so there's like a lot of things up in the air, but it really, what I find is there are always things that will stop you from making your plans to do the next thing to make it better, right? So you have to kind of take those things into consideration and then just kind of go with it, like make a decision and go. Because if you spend all the time waiting for, let's just wait until we get that done, or let's wait until we have that meeting, or let's do this, or let's do that, and wait and wait and wait. Quite frankly, you'll spend all your time waiting around and not getting anything done. Whereas, sometimes it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission and go ahead and do it and get it done and make it as good as you can. So that's kind of where I'm at right now with the production studio that we have, because we really need to probably make a decision about how it is that we are going to move forward with, our recording situation in content creation and all of that. And so one of the big questions, so for example, if the first question isn't big enough, which is we don't even know if we're going to be in the studio space in the next 6 months or not, and if we are, great. If it gets sold or something, that's something we got to pay attention to, and that's a possibility. So we don't know where we're going to be, and so we don't know what our setup's going to look like, and so we're having preliminary talks about stuff, and whether or not, okay, do we do this? Do we make that decision? Well, another factor in this conversation is was kind of waiting. I was going to pull the trigger late last year to buy a ISO recorder and a multi-channel and ATOMOS Shogun 2, thinking that would be great because we'd have multi-channel recording and we'd be able to, bring in those elements that we were wanting to bring in. Well, if you have noticed, and good morning, Angus, good to see you. If you have noticed, the ATOMOS has discontinued the Shogun 2, meaning that they either didn't sell enough or can't make it anymore, or for whatever reason it was discontinued. But I have friends in the industry who said maybe just hang on, maybe just wait a little bit and see what happens in the early part of 2025. And so we are in the early part of 2025, and ISE has come and gone, and I haven't seen anything from ATOMOS out of ISE. And so we can just jump over to their website real quick, and let me find my screen share and share this with you. So they didn't really announce anything that I saw at ISE that was the successor to the Shogun 2. And I haven't seen anything show up on their website yet. These are their three kind of major headlines. And so if they were announcing a new multi-channel recorder, you would think that it would have one of these spots, but they have this light that they're really excited about. They have a touch screen camera control. That's cool. But nothing really here that shows, what I'm kind of hoping to see, which would be a replacement. They don't even really have anything in that category anymore. Look, like monitors, that's going to be those onboard monitors, right? But then monitor recorders, this, you would think it would be here. Here it is here. That's not really a monitor recorder. But I really like this product for multiple reasons. Now, whether or not it was, living up to his name, I don't know. But it is no longer available. I mean, it flat out says on their website it's no longer available. So 8 channels of HD, so 1080p 60, or 2 channels of 4K 60. So I'm assuming maybe they're making a more powerful one. Maybe. Or maybe they've just discontinued it. And that would be most unfortunate, because this is the exact product that I'm looking for. So as you have probably guessed then, I'm trying to figure out, okay, we're going to wait until April. We're going to wait until NAB. But if nothing is announced at NAB, then we're going to go forward with a different solution. Unfortunately, I don't see anybody with this sort of option. I don't see anybody making this product and making anything kind of competitively to this product. And so I'm trying to figure out what to do. And the closest thing I think that I can find right away is something like the Blackmagic Design HyperDeck Studio HD Plus, which would basically do, I believe, HD, right? Records 4K at 30 frames, and there's 6G inputs. So plays back 4K at 30 and records up to 4K. Now we're recording everything in 1080, and so that's kind of good with me. That would be acceptable. This is their top seller, and it runs for about $700. Whereas that Shogun device, this thing used to be $3,000. So the major difference that I can see is that it's only a single channel. It's only a single channel recording device, and that kind of stinks because I would like to be able to record multiple on a single device. So there's that. Heyo, Winnipeg is here. What's going on, Randy? Hey, nothing at ATOMOS. It's nothing from ATOMOS since Eamon left. Probably a coincidence. Perhaps. Shogun Studio is a pretty good concept. The closest is the Blackmagic 8K recorder with 4 HD records in half a 3U, but the multi-recorder is a brand new feature I wouldn't fully rely on. So, yeah, so that also kind of, it's also a bit of a challenge, because we're interested in, I can definitely see a delay on my vMix output. We are interested in obviously expanding our camera fleet. We're currently running 5 cameras. 2 of them are Blackmagics. We'll probably end up with at least one more, camera operator camera, and likely a couple more static images, either micros or something like that. So every time you add a camera to your fleet, you've got to add one of these $700, price tags. The other option that's out there is the HD Pro, which is $1,000. It's a 1U unit, which I really like. The dual hard drive thing is also really good. But again, it's only a single input. Basically, they've expanded it. I love the fact that it's in a single U rack, which I put everything in the network rack, please. That's my preferred method. So much so that I've got 2 network racks up here and 1 downstairs in my living room. Not big ones, just short ones, but network boxes, because it makes everything really tidy and easy to interface with. Plus, you can install it and everything is just right there where you need it. Now, of course, we use web interfaces for the most part to interact with these sorts of things. But yeah, hey, it's always good to wait for an update or two. I've had good luck with the ATEM Mini ISO recorders. So I have an ATEM Mini, but I don't have the Mini ISO. And I don't really want it. If I was going to do anything, I'd probably get a Rode Videocaster, which does do multi-channel ISO recording. that's kind of the other one of the other options that is out there, and it would actually double as a piece of, well, now that I think of it, it would actually double as a piece of equipment that we could use for other styles of recording. And so that might be the next thing. Like if I don't want to have to pay $1,000 for every, because what's going to happen, right, is we're going to get cameras. So that's a, $2,000, let's say. You got to get a lens. So that's going to be anywhere from $500 to $1,500. And then you need to get the studio, which is the unit that connects it over Ethernet, right? Now, I can't remember, what are those called? Is that this unit that powers the unit over Ethernet, or is that a different unit? I have to think about that. I thought it was the Studio HD units but they were like $1,000, weren't they? Here. No, that's Media Player. Well, I'm going to the soundstage tomorrow, so I guess I'll take a look and see what it is that we have. Sorry, let me bring you over to this. So the current units, Studio HD Minis. I've got one of these units, I think, actually. Anyway, the other item, though, that I'd want to check out is Rodecaster Video. And this thing, I've been eyeing the reviews on this. But basically, you could use this just as a recording device on, while you're running in the studio, but then it could be a secondary unit for when you want to do like interviews and stuff like that, because it has many features like auto switching that would allow you to actually do the interview yourself, and for the most part the unit should handle it. If MPEG 4 is good enough, you could add an ATEM Extreme ISO in the mix and record all 8 inputs on that. True, the ATEM Studio ISO Extreme can record 8 inputs to a USB-C drive. All right, so now I got to do some searching here because you guys are spitting out products, and this is kind of what I wanted. That would also be a good backup switcher. Angus agrees. It's not real Ethernet. It just uses, Cat6 cable. If you're using one of the ATEM panels, switcher panels, they should be able to control the extreme ISO. Then there's a good chance that I have individual recording abilities. Sorry, if you're using one of the ATEM switcher panels, they should be able to control the extreme ISO and your main switcher, in which case you have a DaVinci Resolve project clone in your main show, which is so handy. Indeed, indeed. That's interesting. So we're running a Constellation ME2, and mostly through X keys and Companion is how we're managing all of that, because I'm able to customize. So I have an X Keys 64, and I'm able to basically customize everything, mostly for ease of use for volunteers, to be honest with you. So I'm busy training I have 3 video producers that are being trained right now. And that just happened to come upon us based on necessity. So I'm getting them kind of used to it or whatever. But got X keys running through Companion, BidFocus Companion, and then that's controlling the ATEM Constellation. And not ATEM, the Constellation ME2. And so that's got all of our cameras coming into it, but our cameras are connected via Ethernet, which means that I'm pretty sure I have these studio units that will do. So there's a good chance that I just need to buy SD cards. That's what I'm considering setting up at the church at a church in Atlanta. Hey, did you see the new X Keys controller with central control built in? That's so tempting. That does sound tempting. I have not seen it, and so let's have a little look. See. Yeah. Was this launched at ISE? Where was that? Central Control. Maybe it's not on this site. Let's go over to Central Control real quick and have a. Who's got it? Is it .io, right? Central Control. Oh, I should spell it right. Central Control. Okay, core is here. Products. Let's take a little quick look. It's the XBE 110. Ooh. Studio supported devices. Control surfaces. X keys. Okay, so it's not listed here yet. That's okay, though. Roadcaster video looks really cool, but the ability to integrate the Extreme into your current Blackmagic workflow makes it a lot more attractive, in my humble opinion. That's just it. Maybe this is controversial. I don't care for Blackmagic's control surfaces. I feel like there's a lot of unnecessary buttons on their panels. We had, which one did we have? We had the that one that has like, I don't know. I'll have to look at it. I'll have to look it up. But 110. Where is that? XBE 110. The XBE series. 110 T-bar with central control. Oh boy. Wowzers. It's even branded. That's impressive. That's pretty cool. I really like that. Just as a general video, so I'm sure you can exchange whatever keys you don't want, right? But even just the 110 is pretty slick. Products, X keys. This is the RGB series, right? So, oh, the 110 doesn't come in. Okay, so it's exclusive, I guess. That's what that means. We have one Stream Deck rack unit with companion built in. That's cool. It probably wouldn't be. It has an embedded computer that runs central control, so don't use a Blackmagic. So don't use a Blackmagic control service. Toss the A10 Mini on the rack shelf and never touch it. But you can use the FTP and the SMB to access files on the ISO. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I all of a sudden had this realization that perhaps I'm overthinking this. I really genuinely have wanted to use that Roadcaster video unit, mostly because I like to have one personally, but not that I have multiple cameras yet. That's kind of the next thing. Whoa, I just realized something too. Okay, so sorry, my brain is. You're getting probably the worst part of my processing right now. So really sorry about that, everybody. But yes, we are. I've got a lot of irons in the fire. So tomorrow I'm going to be at the soundstage. We actually bought some battery backups. My coworker wanted to switch them over because there's a good chance we're going to need to. First of all, he wanted rack mount at once, which is fine with me. But there's a high probability that we're not going to be in the soundstage area that we currently have for much longer. We're not renting it. It's actually the basement of someone's home, but the house is for sale. And so we are trying to figure out, okay, if this house sells, what do we need to do? And we're making small steps towards making that dream happen and figuring out maybe we make a space that's specific for what it is that we want to do, an actual soundstage. So yes, we will see how that goes. All Blackmagic HyperDecks can record to network share too. Oh, that's a great point. I never touch one of the ATEMs at one place I work, entirely FTP and remote controls. More coffee. Amen to that. Now today I don't have my my usual non-sponsor. Today is just regular Tim Hortons coffee in a Starbucks mug. So that's confusing. But yeah, you know, you got to do what you got to do. It is Timmy's. You know what I did think about doing is making a pot of coffee. My wife and I, so we live in Tennessee now, and most of the time the weather is beautiful, and even in the winter. And so we'll sit out on our back porch and drink coffee on Saturday mornings, which is delightful. Well, part of the issue is that we were sitting out there and drinking coffee, and then we have to go inside and get it from the kitchen. So who wants to do that? So I bought one of those like restaurant style canisters, insulated canisters. And so now we can make a pot of coffee and pour it into the canister and take that outside, and it'll stay real hot, and we can just keep drinking coffee as much as we want. I need to figure out a way to do half and half and creamer. But anyways, all good. So yes, we I should have brought that up here today because I'm already through this cup. To answer your question, Go Web, hey, what's that logo on the mug? It is a Starbucks logo today. So Starbucks is the not the coffee that's in this cup. It's just the cup itself. I got these cups wait, did I get them? Maybe my wife got them. But anyways, we've had them for a very long time. And they serve my purpose well. Yes, so more coffee. So that's really cool. This XBE 110 with central control built in. That's quite a cool idea. I like that a lot. So yeah, I'm looking at options to record, and I want to be able to just individually record each of my cameras, because when we record songs and when we record, lessons, like one-off lessons and stuff, I'd rather be able to fix those in post and have the raw files themselves than trying to video switch it while I'm there. And so you can time your transitions better and, really kind of be intentional with how it is that you're moving around if you have both of the video files. Now I run DaVinci here at the house and the full version of it. And so I can do all the video editing and output all that at high quality, but I need a way to record those things via ISO. And so if I already have the studios, which I believe I do, I will send a message to my coworker real quick and see if he can't get back to me. You know what? Never mind. I'm going to butcher that while my brain is moving this quickly. So now I have the little X Keys 24. I bought that a long time ago, and it was $150 back then, and it's still $150 now. But man, that thing has been great to work with. I mean, I use it for DaVinci, for editing inside DaVinci all the time. And that has been a great little tool. So I can fully... Now, I bought the X Keys before I got into the production world. I bought it to function on my computer for a different reason. And then I ended up buying a Stream Deck, and I didn't use the X Keys for a while. And then I really started thinking about that X Keys and thought, this thing is quite a diverse product, and in some ways is better than the Stream Deck. And so I reintegrated it back. My Stream Deck is connected to my Mac, which is screen 4 above my main system here. And then my X Keys is connected to my Mac, and my Stream Deck is connected to my bigger PC that I use to stream. And it does a lot of things too, controls my lights and whatever, but it's kind of nice to just have both options. And, the Stream Deck, the X Keys doesn't quite get the use that it should, but when I video edit 2 days a week, and I use that thing all the time. Like all the time I use it. So it's quite a good little product to have on your desk. If you have one, you got $150 US. That's how it's done. Blackmagic Store, any thoughts? No, I have none. So because I don't know much about it. Cloud Store. Let's have a quick little look. Blackmagic. Now you can share your media files globally in minutes. This is probably a subscription base, right? Designed for TV and film. Portable and quiet design. Oh, it's a product. Oh, that's fascinating. Flash memory allows multiple simultaneous users. 10 gigabit speeds. Blackmagic Cloud for global media sync. Added the cloud service. Distribute files globally. Ooh, that's pretty. I think I have seen this actually. It's so funny because I'm considering doing a file share, like a file server here at the house with some friends of mine who, like, we do some music stuff. And so it'd be great to kind of have a centralized place where they can log into it and pull down files. No subscription costs. Okay, so, all right, now we're talking. Cloud Dock. Share up to 4 independent SSDs on your networks. Includes 4x 10 gig Ethernet ports for HDMI and status monitoring. Blackmagic Cloud Sync allows the distribution of your files globally. It's a product and a subscription service. Pretty cool if you work with teams that are remotely global. If it's just a proprietary NAS that can sync between multiple units over the internet. So what I see, though, it says no subscriptions. So that's cool. If there's no cost to actually run it. And quite honestly, geez, what on earth? Something like this would suit us just fine. $15,000. Y'all need to chill with your ridiculousness, Blackmagic. They're hopeful. Let's look at share up to 4 independent SSDs. I mean, even something like this would be good. Anyways, I don't really, it doesn't matter as much if it is rack mountable. It's nice if it is, but that would be an interesting idea. Includes 4 10G Ethernet ports and HDMI for status monitoring. Excuse me. I don't know where my cough button is these days. Oh, here it is. All right, well, is it coming? Yeah. That didn't actually mute it, did it? Oh, well. Test, test, test. Yeah, okay, well, that does actually mute, but when I coughed, it didn't mute it, so cool. Shows you how much I need to use my cough button. So, yeah, this is kind of a neat idea. Cloud Sync enables distribution for files globally. How does it work? Cloud Dock 4. Okay, here's some pictures. Let's just 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got Ethernet ports on the back. How are these files coming in to here? I wonder. So how does this work? Bring your own device. How does it actually get the video? Is this just to get it up to the cloud? Is that all this is? It's not actually a ISO recorder? Lets you share up to 4 independent high-speed 10 gig drives, all plug-in SATA, extreme performance, blah, blah, blah. You can also sync files. Okay, so this is if you have, if I'm reading this correctly, this is if you have one of, or multiples, I guess, of, where is it? Disk recorders. So if you have multiples of these things with the hard drives, right? Do they make one that has like an SD card slot, right? Wouldn't that make sense? Disc 1, disc 2. Oh, hey. That's a cool idea. Fascinating. Okay, so that's something. Yeah, HyperDecks can record directly to a cloud store without having to pull drives out of them. In the dock, Blackmagic Cloud is a subscription service where you can share project files with multiple people, but no media storage. The stored device handles the media sharing. The dock is basically superfluous now. Okay, there we go. Sorry, I had to stumble over that one. The Blackmagic Pod lets you take any USB-C disk into network storage. It's perfect for when you want to share media disc recorded on a camera with multiple users on the network. It features a high... Okay, so that's just for... This is basically just for sharing the files, is what this is. And then the cloud store, that's this mamma jamma right here. So, question though, HyperDecks can record directly to the cloud store without having to pull the drives out. Okay, so products. HyperDeck. Oh, you have to pick one? Okay, so they... Fascinating. Maybe I don't know what I already have. Maybe. It's an interesting idea. Yeah, because, so, one of the things that I need to do, what I really want to do, is to have the ability to record all the channels all at once and then just edit and post. And it's only really for the rare occasion where we screw up a camera angle on a song, or perhaps I want to record all the cameras, but I don't want the lyrics, So we impose the lyrics on top inside of a alpha channel coming out of ProPresenter, and then we put the lyrics or scripture or whatever we want up on top of the output that's going out to the live stream. But if I wanted to re-record a song and I could get all the angles of the cameras and then I could redo it so that it's nice and clean and tidy, but then it's kind of a finished product, that would be ideal. Yeah, that would be ideal. So if I can pretty much already do this, then let's go. But I may need, or correct me if I'm wrong, maybe I don't, but I might need one of these units. Oh, what's this? Extremely high performance network storage, 100 gigs Ethernet. Boy, that's expensive. What about just something like this? Store Mini, 8 terabytes, post-production, Blackmagic Cloud. Blackmagic cameras can upload to the Blackmagic Cloud website as they shoot. That means that you get clips delivered right to your DaVinci Resolve bin. Blackmagic Cloud Store constantly syncs media so when everyone on the network can access. Then... What? All right. Let's head on over to my soundstage machine and let's see what we have going on here. Oops. All right, so the ATEM's already up. So I've got both. I have both cameras coming into this thing. HyperDecks not connected. Why is this? This is spam. Accept the risk. Stop it. HyperDecks. No, okay, so yeah, this is Sources, we're all good there. Fade to black, network discovery, yada, yada, yada. That's all fine. Remote. So you could link a hyperdeck to... What? Who is emailing me? All right. I need to like sit down and think this through then, because if I already have the means to do this, I would like to have some like on-prem storage that then gets synced up to the cloud. But I don't have amazing internet speeds here at the house right now, so that's coming. Apparently AT&T is working on getting the lines to my house. No idea when, but hopefully soon. But yeah, if I've already got like these cameras are, oh, that's cool. I should just do this. Yeah, these cameras are coming into our system via a studio. So they're 4K, they're 6K studio Blackmagic cameras that are connected to our system via Cat 6. But to do that, you come out of the camera Cat 6 and you go into this little proprietary unit, which I believe is the studio. Blackmagic cameras have recording capability can record footage directly to a cloud store unit. Or you can have multiple hyperdecks doing the recording, or you can use an ATEM Extreme ISO. Okay, so these cameras do have the ability to record to a hard drive. So they could record that footage directly to a cloud store unit, is what you're saying. Ooh, including the ISO camera app. That's fun. So if I had a cloud store unit, then we could link that unit to these cameras. Now, can it do multiple? Can one single cloud store unit do multiple cameras, and how many can it do? Let's go ahead and look at the actual camera itself. Find out more on this. So this is the 6K. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, 6K Pro with the EF mount. And $6K model. Yes, up to 10 gigs. I believe that they can. Fascinating. Interesting. This is like blowing my mind. Connect via HDMI, SDI, Ethernet, USB. Camera at SDI, low cost SMPTE, live streaming, raw video formatting, built-in mics. Camera audio, program monitoring, ND filters, Blackmagic OS, LUTs, localized popular languages, studio converter. This is the thing that I have. That's what I have, studio converter. So it's not the studio recording device, but you're saying I don't need it. So if you get a cloud unit, then how do those cameras send video just over the Ethernet connection? And that can't be right, because it's not plugged into a switch, it's plugged into the camera. Somebody help me here. So when you go to select the recording media, the cloud store or other network shares pop up as an option. I got surprised when scrolling through my camera and my ATEM popped up as recording media. Huh. Interesting. Very interesting. How do you have your camera plugged into your ATEM? Because you would think that we could, wouldn't that be an option here? Right? So this ATEM controller. If you go into settings, yeah, it's very interesting. Through your network. But these aren't plugged into the network. That's what I'm trying to say, is like these cameras have a plug on them, an Ethernet plug, but they are plugged into the studio converters, this right here. Pro models, you can connect all signals to your camera in one Ethernet IP link connection. That means that the camera feed, the return program, time code, reference tally, talkback, controller, all sent from a single cable. The same benefit of SMPTE fiber, but the standard 10 gig copper. Studio converter allows breakout of all the video, audio, talkback connections, the studio end. It also includes a massive power supply that provides camera power, which is one of the main reasons we love it. So you don't need to power it. Plus, you can fit 2 per rack using a Blackmagic universal rack. So on the back of this thing, to the camera, connect your local network for updates and settings. I have a fancy USB to Ethernet dongle for my Pocket 6K and my Ursa Broadcast G2. I've not used the studio connected one. The SMPTE fiber unit does, though. So do I need to plug in the control? I heard that this port doesn't do anything. The control port connects to local network for updates and settings. So this is the port that we plug in the camera to, right? The camera Ethernet provides PoE and powers the camera. It's so nice on the floor to have one cable. It's that same bird dog mentality of just one cable to rule them all. So that's where the camera's plugged in. This, though, seems to be maybe what we're implying, is that if we plug this into the Ethernet and then we have a cloud, if we had cloud storage or whatever, then that might work. You'll have to try it, but that's what you have to use. I've never done it on that model, though. Okay. All right. So we'll have to test this out, because I would be very interested in knowing if it can write to cloud already as a recording device. That would be a big help. I don't have the Studio Pros. For my cameras, I have this Studio Converter. Just silly that if you just put 2 SD card slots on there, it would have been very helpful. But anyways, one of the companies that I work with has a couple of Ursa Broadcast SMPTE fiber camera chains. I should try that out on the ATEM ISO and see how they do with network recording. Yeah, I mean, if I have the option to add these to my network, which I totally have open ports, add these to my network and then add a cloud unit to my network, and that gives me access to all those files over the cloud, let's go. I'd be all about that. That would be very, very desirable. But more on that soon, I guess. I can plug them in and then see if these cameras show up, or show if anything shows to record, be available to record. The other thing is, where are we here? Production switchers. We had this guy, this one, television studio switcher, and it didn't stay long when I had it. So these guys don't have any onboard recording capabilities. It's also kind of annoying. But this is our switcher for the system. Now, so we have one. Choose from hardware or software control panels. All ATEM switchers feature a wide range of hardware and software controls. It's possible to share control panels between ATEM models for different events, including with ATEM Constellation's free software based on... Oh, that's so interesting. Okay. All right. Well, there's lots to think about here in terms of workflow, right? We have two multi-viewers, which not yet. I'm only using one of them, but we've got room for two. And if we move to a new space, then we definitely would be using both, because I would probably put one in front of the video switcher and one in front of the director station. So that would give us plenty of ability to, for example, I want the video production guy to see what we currently see, which is preview and program, and then we have 8 sources on the bottom. But for the director, I don't really care about preview and program. I just want to see all the sources, right? So it'd be nice to have a secondary output that could show everything that we need. So this is a very interesting idea. Angus, the feature came out in 8.7 beta camera firmware. Oh, and there's a question. I don't even know what firmware my cameras are running. So more on that soon. For half the price, I wouldn't mind this little dock if there was a way to load it into a rack somehow. But, you know, the ears, it probably doesn't justify twice the price, but it would be great if we could. Let's read on this real quick. Share up to 4 independent SSDs. Oh, man. Yeah, this is... Is there any way for the Constellation to output the program onto a cloud or on a cloud unit like this? So here's what I'm thinking. I want all my cameras, right? I want my Blackmagic cameras, and then I want my program output as well. So if the ATEM could record onto something like that, or not ATEM, the Constellation could record onto something like this, that would be pretty cool. So I'm going to pop back over to here, and let's just take a look at what other options we have. Not much here, eh? All right, cancel that. Media, still capture, no assignment. This is just yada, yada, yada. Outputs. Media players. Hyperdeck's not connected. Connect to Blackmagic Hyperdeck. I don't believe any of the Constellation switchers have encoders built in. The HD8 ISO should. Okay. So would it... Well... Yeah, okay. Not any existing Constellation use. Supposedly, once they add 2110 to everything, though, they've already promised 2110 out of the SMPTE units and any devices with the 10G port. Yeah, they promised 2110 out of the Blackmagic cameras, too, right? So... out of the Studio 6K. So time will tell. You know, promises made. But I don't have any hyperdecks on the network, so clearly this isn't... I can't really do anything until I either get a hyperdeck or I get a cloud unit. Okay, well, that's interesting. It is a new month and a new budget, so I might end up looking into that. It's really helpful to kind of talk this all through, though, because I'm trying to figure out a way to make this work better, work quicker. When I upgrade my internet uploads and download speeds here at the house, that will really make a big difference too, where we can record and then I can just come home and open DaVinci and there it will all be. So that would be super nice. Do I need anything on my side to enable the sync, or is that a web service? Like, are you logging into Blackmagic Cloud Service? I guess it looks like it's a website, Blackmagic Cloud Sync. BLACK, Magic Cloud Sync. So let's see here if maybe this little video will help explain what it is that's going on here. It's a Vimeo video.
Hi everyone, we're just giving you a bit of a demo of the new live sync feature in Blackmagic Cloud. So you can see I'm recording on an iPhone 15 with the Blackmagic camera app, and now we're live recording into the bin. So it's like we're live streaming into the bin. So you can see the icon has a record indicator on it, which means this camera is actually recording. If we go down into the viewer here, you can scroll along a bit. You can see, I think it just happened then. If I go in a bit closer, you can see the media is actually coming into the viewer live as the camera is recording. So you'll see that playback indicator there. It'll jump back. So you just saw it there as the media is continuing to come in. And so we can also do it on a second camera. So if we come back to, we're going to notice the broadcast G2 here. So if we start recording on there, and you can see I'm recording into the same project above the timecode there. So both of these cameras are recording into the same project. So we're going to have this update on the Ursa Broadcast G2 as well as the cinema camera and the Ursa Xenion Pixis, and the Blackmagic camera app will also support this, and obviously Blackmagic Cloud itself. So if we go back down to here, we should be able to see the second camera will come in automatically. There it is there. There's the turn. It's also got the record indicator showing that it's recording. So both of these cameras are recording live.
What cameras did he say?
Project. So we're going to have this update on the Ursa Broadcast G2 as well as the cinema camera and the Ursa Xenion Pixis, and the Blackmagic camera app will also support this, and obviously Blackmagic Cloud itself. So if we go back down to here, we should be able to see the second camera will come in automatically. There it is there. There's the turn. It's also got the record indicator showing that it's recording. So both of these cameras are recording live. And if we go down here, we can see that you can actually scroll between the two cameras. See? And so you can see one after the other. And then the other thing we're doing is if we come back a bit, you can see we've actually got two DaVinci resolves, both connected to the same project. So what's happening is the medias are coming up from two different cameras to Blackmagic Cloud, then coming down to two separate DaVinci systems. They could be anywhere in the world. You could have one on set, one back in the post-production facility. So it's pretty cool. And then if we want to work with the two cameras, we can use the multi-source feature up here, and then that'll give them as a multi-view. So now you can see where the cameras line up. In fact, if we scroll a little bit earlier, you see that we only had the first camera rolling. So it's just the first camera, and then if we go to the second bit, and if you hit play, you can see it playing. So there it is. So that's how the new live sync feature in DaVinci Resolve works. And you can click a camera, and you can actually just play back out of the viewer and kind of, have a broadcast workflow where the file's streaming into the bin, and you just play back in DaVinci, and you can play straight to air, 20 or 30 seconds after the camera's recording. But it means you can record an important event and start editing the content immediately without waiting for that event to finish, because the camera can just keep recording. So it's pretty cool. So there it is. Live sync on Blackmagic Cloud. It'll be available in a couple of weeks' time. And we'll be showing it at the trade shows. So if you're at any of the shows, come by and check it out. Thanks.
Interesting. So let me just go back here and mute this real quick. And okay. When did he post that? June 7th of 2024. Cinema camera 6Ks. That's not what I have. I have a studio camera, right? Record full HD proxy and H.264. These files are synced to Blackmagic Cloud as they're recorded and then also live synced down to DaVinci Resolve workstations that are connected to the same cloud project. Interesting. The ATEM to HyperDeck is really a playback control, not really for recording. One of the features of the Cloud Store is that you can sync just the proxy low quality copy and then only during render get the high quality ones. Oh, wow. That's cool. Another piece of gear that ties in all this is a Blackmagic Media Player. I've played with ISO Direct to resolve editing. It's pretty slick. So if I go over to DaVinci, so here's my DaVinci project. How would I even go about looking for a sync? Yeah, don't mind all of the broken files here. Preferences, that's where I was. Media storage. Automatically proxy. So you would think that there'd be like a sign into your sync account, right? Or something like that. And then internet accounts. Blackmagic Cloud. Look at that. Interesting. Okay. So what does it involve to have a Blackmagic Cloud account? Create a free account. All right. Let's go ahead and do that. Whoops. I'm not going to show you all this information just because a lot of it is personal info. Just hang on tight. Country and region. United States. Use a strong password. I better copy that because who knows? Country and region. I already did that. Select a state. Tennessee. Come on now. Oh, it really didn't like. Oh. There we go. Oh, I see. Let's go ahead and sign up. It did save my password. That's good news. Thanks for signing up. Now go back to your login. All right. So now let me just take this off the screen. I'll just go back full screen real quick. And we're going to sign in. Yoink. Please check your email and password. Can't sign you in. Cool. Go and activate your account, it says. All right. So let's go ahead and do that then. It keeps refusing to upload. No, it doesn't refuse to upload. You just don't know what you're doing here. Interesting. I did not get an email from them. I wonder if I butchered my login information. Or maybe it takes a second. They're Australian, so they might be sleeping. All right, so let's go back. Go to login. Sign in. Your account has been activated. Please check your email to activate your Blackmagic account. Well, now it's a waiting game, I guess. Cloud account isn't really the same as Cloud Store. You need both. Yeah, I know. I just was curious. Like, I'm assuming you would log in to Cloud Store with your cloud account, and then it would see those hard drives and probably, make that connection. I'm making a big assumption here, but the way that my brain logically thinks that through is that would be kind of the next step, right? Okay, so I'm not getting an email from them. That's a shame. So let's go out on a limb and say that I screwed up the registration. Let's just try one more time. Because I definitely was typing very quickly And maybe I really messed it up. Still haven't received anything from them, so... No. Sorry. We're working on it. Oh, I think I know what I did. I think it auto-filled a different email for me. That's okay. That's probably why. Is it in here? Oh, no, it's not. Let's check spam. Nothing in spam. Okay. Spam, 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 spam. Failed to sign up account. Please check your email. Yep, these are correct. This is correct. Oh, I see. Failed again. Why? This is all right. There we go. Done. And now we wait. Hey, instantaneous. Activate my account. Go back to login. Log in. And now we're cooking. All right. So now if I head back to my DaVinci Resolve and I sign in, that seemed to work. Okay, cool. So we'll just save that info. And that's all talking now, it appears. That's good. All right, great. So first step is done. Spammity spam, wonderful spam. Good stuff. My camera saw my drive without a cloud account at all. I believe they can sync over Dropbox too. Ooh, I do have Dropbox. You have to pay a fee to store project files in the cloud account, but I believe that you do not have to pay if you are receiving someone else's project share. So like if I'm hosting those files over at the soundstage in the next town over, can I see them through the cloud for free? You know, like I do have a Dropbox account. So can we write to Dropbox? That would be insane. But it is listed here, eh? So that's interesting. Sign in. A DaVinci Resolve would like to access. Okay, and we're done. That took no time at all. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay, so this is all very fascinating. So if we had cloud storage on-prem and it was logged into my account, I'd be able to see those files here in DaVinci. Is that what I'm understanding? Because if so, I have a very good use case to go ahead and purchase something right now and say that's what we need. The cloud account is so everyone can be editing the actual same project live in real time. Okay. How do I get DaVinci to see? How do I get my DaVinci here in the hills of Tennessee to see the cloud storage device if I buy one in Brentwood? The video files are replicated. Yo, 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 what's cooking? Good looking. Hello, stranger over on Twitch. Not too much. We're working through some workflow technical questions, so you may have signed up for something you weren't planning on. Welcome to the show. So two different elements of this total solution. Collaborative project files that update when any user updates them instantly. stored on a Blackmagic cloud or a media sharing solution via the store. All right. So, yes, the collaborative project files that update when any user updates them instantly, stored on the Blackmagic cloud. Now, when we say Blackmagic cloud, we're referring to the physical hardware product that one can purchase that looks kind of like this. Hopefully this is still the same. The right, yeah, that looks like this. This just says share disks over. You know, but are these? Ugh, I don't know. I'm so confused. Blackmagic Dock will transform customers' work. Perfect for film and television because you can record onto SSDs included and then use the Blackmagic Cloud Dock to make the disks available on the multiple. But does this unit record or is it just transmit to the cloud? I'm so stinking confused about how do you record them onto these hard drives? It looks like you record directly on there because it has the red light, has the record light on there, right? So you would think that's how it's done. So resolved project files are shared collaboratively, sorted on the servers, not on local hardware. Okay. The hardware product that you're looking at is for sharing media files across multiple locations, which is what I need because we record in one spot and I edit in another. And instead of me bringing hard drives home all the time and forgetting them, that's really the issue. Angus says those are just NAS drives. Okay. Devices with an encoder can use that as storage. These do not record. This is a shared storage solution. Boom. Okay. Eureka. Thank you. That's what I needed to hear. So I still need a recording solution is what I need, right? So let me think about how that can be done. Probably through their disk recorders, right? Now, those solutions, however, are strictly for, it may help to read the Cloud Store manual. Yes, it may. But what's the fun in that? Why not just blindly navigate through all these questions without referencing a manual? Whoa, disk arrays. Oh, that's 4 slots USB-C solid state dock that lets you edit directly from your media disks. And that's half the price. Okay. Two SD slots as well as 2 SSDs. Also includes mechanical machined metal search dial with clutch SDI monitor out and XLR timecode connections. Yes, either the camera itself, a series of hyperdecks, or an ATEM ISO. Yes, you still need the ATEM Mini Extreme SDI ISO. Okay. So now I wonder about the actual camera itself. I don't think you can hit record on this camera if I'm thinking clearly here, which means that we would need something like a hyperdeck, right? Oh, there is a record button here. Okay, because there are SDI slots, and you could put an SSD on it. Okay. So that's interesting. Very interesting. Okay. Yeah, it's almost like they need like a workflow, like a workflow map, you know? So if you're buying this camera, here's how you can do this. Do you have to physically hit record here, or can I do that? I wonder if I can do that here on camera. Yeah, I wonder if I can trigger that here or even in companion, right? So if we, why is companion closed? Yoink. Another version of companion, any configurations made. Wait, what? Bueller. Yeah, okay, fine. I think we updated. I think that's why it's asking that. What do we got here? Yeah. So let's go ahead and launch. Stop. There is, I just updated. Get out of here. Stinking. All right. Let's look at. All right, let's just look at buttons for a second here. If I wanted to ATEM, no, not ATEM. It's not the ATEM, right? Because the ATEM can't trigger the routing. Okay, so I need to do this a different way. ATEM switchers have a record in all camera setting that you can set when hitting record. I hear your update needs an update from being updated. That is pretty much how I feel. Okay, so switchers have a record in all cameras. Okay, so that's cool. So let's just see if that shows up. Let's create a button. Actions. We're going to look at the file. ATEM. Macro, ME player, startup, clear. All right. No actions for record. So maybe it's not here. Maybe it is. Nothing in here that shows anything like that. All right, let's go ahead and get rid of this button because I don't want to do anything like that. Clear that. Yoink. And all right, well, I will Google this. There we go. To record all cameras on a Constellation 2, you can use the record menu on the output page of the ATEM control software. You can use the what now? You can use the record menu on the output page. The record menu on the output page. It's in the ATEM software under the main switcher tab on the right pane under output. Okay, so we're all seeing this together, right? So output, I've got capture still, timecode gen, and counter. Am I on that? I'm just on the control surface, I guess. But is this what you mean by the output page? Click start recording all cameras and connect the Blackmagic camera to an ATEM using HDMI directly or through Blackmagic microconverter bidirectional, yada, yada, yada. Pressing the record button on the ATEM will start both the hard drive recording and the recording on all connected cameras simultaneously. Alternately, if you have an ATEM Television Studio HD Pro or 4K ATEM Production Studio, you can use the free software utility from Middle Things called Middle Control. This software connects the ATEM software to start all recording cameras simultaneously. However, some users have requested ISO recording features directly on the ATEM constellation, but currently it is recommended to use an external recorder like a HyperDeck or other recorders for this purpose. You have to tell it which inputs are Blackmagic cameras and which types. How old is the firmware on the switcher and what version of the software? Great question. These are all answers I don't have, unfortunately. This is version 9.1. Is that bad? Maybe we should do an update. Let's find out. Blackmagic ATEM software. Blackmagic ATEM software control. Current version is Bueller. Hey, what's cool about the recording on all cameras thing is that it can record in sync with all the other ATEMs and with what the ATEM is recording. So you can shoot and switch an HD project in the ATEM camera and then resync your Resolve project files with the camera original files. So if they are 4K, you now have a 4K switched project. 963, yeah, hey, that's pretty old. Yeah, you're running sort of old software. Okay. You know what would be cool if there was like a place in here that said update software, but sure doesn't have that option. General, maybe? No, nothing here. So what? I gotta manually update this, like a Neanderthal. Well, let's go ahead and save this, and I'm going to I'm just going to do this and then say 2025. What is today? The 0213. All right. And we'll just save all that too, just in case. All right. All the cool stuff showed up in 9.4. Uh-oh, someone got banned. And they make it miserable to update the ATEM software on PC. You have to uninstall it, then reboot, then reinstall it, then reboot again. Oh, no. That's not cool. Why? Why is it that complicated? That's ridiculous. Okay, so I have to uninstall this software? Is that what you're telling me? Ugh. Yikes. Well, let me download the current one first. Support, tech specs. Why is there not just a download button? Let's get started. Bueller? Shouldn't there be like a big download button? Find a reseller. Once you've updated the software and connect the ATEM devices, you'll want to update the firmware on the ATEM. Pour one out for Steven. Hey, yeah, click that support button. Ooh, I don't like that. Why do I got to click that support button? How can I help you? Hi, Jen. I'd like some. Oh my gosh, this menu is an eyesore. What is this? No. Ugh. Can I search? Is that what this is? Okay, ATEM software update. Oh my gosh. Read the comments, John. Then ATEM switchers. Click it. Hey, do this. Okay, here we go. Let's try this again. ATEM switchers. I'm sure that's what it is, right? 9.6 update, this one. Software update for all ATEM panels. Let's just read this real quick. This is not, though. This, then download only. Whoa, 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 whoa. Click ATEM switchers. ATEM switchers. Click this. Read this. My favorite is reading this after. My favorite is reading this after you guys are like raging on the. Yeah, thank you for the download only option, though. I appreciate that. Why are you downloading twice? Get out of here. Watching you guys be upset in the chat is kind of fun for me, but John, have you never updated your Blackmagic giveaway? I have, but it was a long time ago. When I saw that list, I had that feeling of like, oh, I remember this. Like, this is such a terrible scroll to see all the latest updates. I've navigated this page hundreds of times. I typed blah in my browser, and it comes up straight to the support page. Oh, that's great. That is so good. Angus, yeah. Hey, I'm getting that impression. Okay, so I seriously have to restart this computer like 100 times. Do I have to? You guys are for real? I have to uninstall. Like the install process won't uninstall the old one for me? How is that? Sometimes I want to ask, like, to the engineers, like, how did you think that this was a great customer experience? You know? Here's an interesting thought, too. Blackmagic cameras. Camera update. I wonder how old. Oh, the last update was May of 23. Okay, so I'm probably okay then. Okay, this has been downloaded. Yoink. I think I've got like maybe 4 or 5 ATEM switchers. I'm not sure anymore. I only have to type B and it pops up. Oh my goodness. Try it and find out. Hey, you need the ATEM software on your constellation, not for the switcher. What is going on here? Hey, how's it going, Stockwork? Man, I haven't seen that name in a long time. Welcome back. Chad just checked me to B is all it takes. Uninstall, reboot, install, reboot, upgrade firmware. Oh my gosh. On a Mac, it will overwrite it correctly. No clue about on a PC. On a Mac, it doesn't require any boots. Welcome to the 21st century. So unfortunately, I'm not using a Mac. Actually, I have the option to do this on a Mac across the booth, but this is the computer that we're using. So, all right, well, if that's the truth, then let's get after the uninstall process. And let's see. Yeah, okay. Here we go. Are you sure you want to do this? I am. Yes, it's a way nicer experience on a Mac, which is funny because you must restart your computer. Oh my gosh. Who knows if my remote session, by the way, is going to come back because, you know, Google Chrome remote, sometimes it doesn't come up. Anyway, so It's not very common that you hear of many people saying the Mac experience is better. Ugh, should have used my non-sponsor Ember mugs, where you could keep your coffee hot and your creamer curdled. You might be able to get away without the middle reboot. Well, here's hoping. All right, so I have been officially, that computer is now restarting. Let's see when it comes back, if it comes back. Yeah, so what other updates should Blackmagic support? All right. What other products probably need me to update them? It's a great question. Streaming and encoding, disc recorders, broadcast converters. Here we go. Blackmagic converter update. How do I update that? Do I got to do this over USB-C? Read more. Software package allows you to set up and update your Blackmagic converters to the latest software release. Bug fixes supporting 2110. Minimum requirements are Windows 10. Installing converter utility software. This installer contains a utility software, converter utility software, which allows you to configure any mini converter connected to your computer's USB port. Wow, wow. All right. Evidently, this computer has come back online. Oh, it actually did. This is fun. All right, so now I've got my my new software here. Let's go ahead and unzip that. Extract all. Yoink. Yoink. Oh boy, it's a big file. All right, I can show you this exciting process. Yoink. And boy, that extraction has taken quite a while. That's shockingly slow. Blackmagic Converter Utility Installer. So that's probably another thing that I need to get on here, is that because those converters probably then have never been updated. What else we got here? Are there actual... Let's look at the camera updates, because again, I don't know. But Blackmagic camera update. This update, 922. Loading. Loading, loading, loading. Nothing yet. Okay, let's try that again. This software update is for Blackmagic Ursa Cinema 12K LF and adds support to the Blackmagic media modules. Let's click on... Is there a way that I can specify? Hyperdeck updates. Blackmagic cameras. Why won't this load? All right, let's just say print this page. Oh, there it is. Ah, crap. Okay, so here is what I'm looking at. This installer will add Blackmagic camera softwares. Which cameras? Following for the new features for this model is just the Ursa. So not actually the studio cameras that I have. Okay. All right, this is now done. Time to install. We're about to install everything you will need to set up your ATEM switcher. Continue, continue, agreed. This is going to take 4,294 megs space on your computer. My goodness. That's a doozy. I was just about to mention that it can be super annoying trying to do all of this remotely. Oh, hi, man. I forgot what I wrote. You're right with this. Oh, how's it going, man? The Blackmagic guys were former Apple employees, just like Ubiquiti. Hey, just install the latest one of everything, and it will put the correct version on them. All right, that sounds like sound advice, although I've worked for manufacturers in this industry, and that doesn't work for everybody. The release notes just tell you what changed in the last one. But okay, but it's the full package, eh? So if I were to go ahead and get that converter software, so where is it here? It's these converters, right? Blackmagic converters software. So if I click on this, Download only. Why does it download it twice? I don't double click. What's going on here? Shut it, McAfee. All right, and then let's go back and see how we're doing on the ATEM switch. Not great. That's why the downloads are so huge. Because it's the full install. Got it. Yeah, I do like the idea of just having like a camera firmware and then the firmware figures out which one it is. It does mean that the downloads are bigger, but it saves your company from having to post 8,000 different firmwares for every single camera you have. Or, I mean, not camera, constellation or switcher. Sorry, bad habits. So every device. So if you have video switchers, it's just be one thing of software and the firmware update figures out which one it is. Instead of you having to download, you have the Constellation ME2, not the ME4, so you need this one and not that one. It's like, no, just stop. Video switcher firmware. One package to rule them all. Personally, I would prefer that from a customer standpoint because then it is far more straightforward. The record tab is on the A10 Mini Pro, ISO, and Extreme versions. Well, there you go. So maybe I'm updating this to no avail, but it's still very out of date. So, hey, how's it going, Daniel? Good to see you, by the way. Thanks for swinging on by. We're seeing some names today that we don't normally see. So, welcome. Approximately 5 seconds remaining. So this is clearly a Windows rig because it's been far more than 5 seconds. And it's still going. Ooh, 3 seconds. Silly stuff. So I'm assuming, though, that my connection here to the ATEM, says it's still active. Because the ATEM's still there, right? Just not the software. Okay. Cool. Now up to 4 seconds. So should the install time be getting less, not more? Call me crazy. Hey, I'll restart. For crying out loud. You guys weren't lying. Shout out to Angus and Chad and Steven for calling it. That when you're doing this on a PC, you got to restart 10 times. The good news is hopefully this computer will come back when it's done rebooting. So here we go. Can't wait. Can't wait to have this brand new feature. Now, it may not work. Now, as I recall, I had the what was it called? The ATEM Studio. Where is it here? Video switcher. Joink. So I had a previous version of this guy. I think it's the Studio 8 we had. No. It wasn't that one. It was like a teeny tiny one. Show all. Oh, not all, everything. So mine's clearly been demoted because it's not here anymore. Or maybe it was this one. No, I don't think it was. I had an older version of the Studio. ATEM Studio. If I just put it in here. It can't be this one. No. I'll need to look it up and see. ATEM Studio HD, right? It was like an old school. Yeah, this is it. I had an ATEM Studio. Show more. Not I didn't have it, okay? Let's be clear here. ATEM Television Studio Pro HD is what we have sitting in a box somewhere. Looks like this. And it was okay. But I felt like there were so many wasted buttons. Like most of these buttons you wouldn't press. Like what's with all the transition buttons or the picture in picture buttons? It was just completely ridiculous. But yes, we don't have this unit anymore. Let's look at the back. So on the back, she has control, USB-C, yeah, audio in, out. This was fun to get off of this product and go to the Constellation. But we were running this guy. They were. I didn't purchase this. The time goes up because of abandonment issues. There was an old one in the form factor of a 1E advanced panel. You'll note that the HD8 has way fewer buttons. Oops, sorry. Yes. So if we go back to Blackmagic and we go down to that guy now, look, check this out. The HD8, where is it here? This guy is far fewer buttons. Nicer product, like nicer control surface. It's huge. My goodness. But yes, way less buttons. And I'm a big fan of that. I'm a big fan of like, you don't need all that crap. You know. All right, let's check out, see if this guy's good to go here. So we are booted. I mean, it's talking to it. Yep. Screen is showing up. All right, so far so good with the Windows machine Chrome remote reconnecting. The ATEM Extremes have 6 camera control buttons per input. It's totally pointless. You heard it here first, folks. All right, so are we installed now? Bueller. Or did it not actually install? Ah, Eureka. Hey-oh. Whoa. Look at all these extra buttons. I watched on my Constellation 1ME and can't find the record all function. Maybe it's not on Constellation. I have this function on my ISO Extreme. The HD8 has buttons for audio mixer and routers, which I love. Always a fan of that. Always a fan of that. All right, these are, these are correct. It remembered my settings. Huh. Bravo, ATEM software control engineers. So far, I am impressed by that. It didn't remember my lock function, but that's fine. But I think these were just like this because I have them all the way open. Use the shortest f-stop we can. But these are correct. These are the correct. I think actually the white balances are off. So let's go ahead and restore today's. Right? Yep. There we go. Okay, so yep, these are locked. I have the same white balance. Okay. Okay, all good. So under the switcher, under output, we still don't have the capture function. So that leads me to believe that the hyperdeck needs to be physical control panel. The physical camera control panel is so nice to use. I got to check that out because right now we are just handling our cameras like this. So yeah, I wonder if though, so these cameras don't have SD cards or hard drives on them. So I wonder if I were to put SD cards in them, do I have that option? Let's go here. There's USB ports. I don't know if it has an SD card slot or not now that I think of it. Let's just keep looking here real quick. No, and no, not on this side either, which is fine. You know, a USB disk is not hard to find, not hard to get. I probably even have one chilling here, so I can test that theory out. So still need to update the firmware. Did I not? Oh. You mean the... Oh, shoot. Did the converter firmware download? Let's find out. Switchers, downloads. Yeah, converters is here. Extract all. How many restarts do you think we're going to have to do here for the converters? This is going much faster in terms of extracting. Blackmagic Studio converters can record to USB disk. Oh. Well, that's a fascinating... Where did you come from, Daniel? You are full of useful information. Consider being a regular. Just kidding. Very helpful. All right, let's go ahead and install. Yes. The ATOMOS setup app is another app and setup. Are you serious right now? Certainly you jest. Blackmagic? Oh, I'm almost there. I had to type 2 buttons to find it. ATOMOS setup app. Blackmagic. This is just all switcher. Blackmagic Studio cameras. Chad says, yeah, he's not kidding, Daniel. Please stay and help us. It's installed, but it's a separate program. You've got to be kidding me. It's already there. It's in the start menu. It's part of the same package. It's not another download. Stop clicking on the website, John. Just stop. Pay attention. Oh, gosh, I love it. Okay. Pay attention. Hey, ATOMOS setup. Fancy that. Update is required. Of course it is. Please don't unplug your switcher while updating. It's good stuff. Notice me, senpai. You know we love you, right? Of course. I would not cut time out of my schedule every week to if I thought my audience did not enjoy this or did not want to be. You have the choice to leave. So like you're here. So I'm sure you're here just to make me better, which is amazing. And we're all learning together. This is that sort of hands-on stuff that I always thought, like I always admired Tom Sinclair for, because he would just jump in and be like, well, let's update. And then just, it was what it was. And I used to run, like he would update Bird Dog cameras live on his show. And I would sit in my office and be like, oh my gosh, I better be in the chat or this is going to be very frustrating for him. So that is the real deal. Hey, your update has been updated. It's ready to be used. Fantastic. Why though is this a thing? Like I don't really, anyway, all good. All right, close. Now it's time for converters. Your software has been installed. Are you what? Software is already installed. Are you sure you want to cancel this? Software was installed. The software is already installed. Okay. Well, let's just... It's a lovely group learning session. I particularly appreciate it that this goes both ways. PTZ. What did I say? What did I said something probably wrong, didn't I? Why is it saying close or uninstall? Are you sure you want to cancel? I didn't want to cancel, but whatever. Wowzers. This is impressive, to say the least. And then what? Now I've got to like restart this probably. Where is that converter software? That's the next thing I want to find, because converter setup. Here we go. Oh, however, these are not plugged into my network, so I'm probably not going to find them. Nuts. Bueller. Yeah, okay. That's fine. Yeah, so these need to be plugged into my network in order for me to do this update. So I'll plug them in tomorrow and get them updated. Can you update the cameras through the converters? That's the next question, right? But there should be 2 of them on my network. So, okay. That's that. However, the sad news is that it does appear that the recording function does not work for the Constellation. So our friend, Mr. Daniel, was correct. And we're going to pin this to the taskbar. He was correct in his assessment that that's not an option here. However, if I were to... Are these still working? Yeah. If I were to add a hard drive to those cameras, would that... would that fix that issue? Don't know. I don't think that the studio converters are considered converters. They are part of the camera and probably want the camera software. I think so. But, I mean, their literal name is converter, right? Where's this thing? Oh, not that one. This one? Dang it. Products. Cams. So, if they're not technically converters, why on earth would they call them that? Because that would be extremely confusing. But here on the screen, you can see that it shows the connection between the camera and it looks like the network. So I think you're right. They're not technically converting anything, but other than from what's coming from the camera over the Ethernet cable to video, to SDI. Now, what was said a little bit earlier? Where was it? I think actually Daniel said it, if I'm not mistaken. The Blackmagic Studio Converter can record to USB disk. Is that true? To record to multiple inputs with hyperdecks, you can trigger multiples with just one. The SMPTE ones are in the camera firmware. The converter software just handles stuff like the mini converters. And as Chad has said, these are going to be through the camera app. They convert SDI to fiber. Yeah, so, but this little guy can't record to USB, right? Because there are no USB ports. Unless they've updated this. But I don't think they have. And certainly that would be a feature. Is there actually a page for the Blackmagic Studio converters? Blackmagic standard conversion? No. Broadcast conversion? No, not there. DaVinci, ProCams, Resolve. Where are we here? Streaming and encoding. It won't be here. Web Presenter HD. Streaming processor H.264 hardware encoder for streaming in HD and SDR RTMP protocols to services such as YouTube. Includes USB webcam. That's cool that you have that unit exists. Multi-viewer monitoring, broadcast converters. So it's not, there isn't actually a page that shows more. I meant Blackmagic Studio cameras. Copy that. Okay, so that comment is the studio cameras can record to a USB disk. Okay, that I know to be true. So would it be, so if the hyperdecks are really for, if they're more for playback, would it make so? Daniel, now that you're a part of this conversation, my workflow is I want to be able to record all cameras independently and then access that data from my home. So what distribution or what encoder or what do I need to look at to achieve that? Because cloud storage is here, right? But I'm not 100% sure about what all this is talking about, where you can share drives, that's fine. Cloud Store, Cloud Dock, Cloud Store Mini. Blackmagic Cloud Store gives you high performance. Yeah. Where are the specs on the Mini? So the Mini high performance rack mounted flash storage features 8 and 16 gig models, 4 card RAID, 10 gig Ethernet, 1 gig Ethernet, USB-C, Blackmagic Cloud Sync for distributing files globally. Whoops, am I on page 2? There we go. So I don't think that I've ever used a hyperdeck to do playback aside from spot checking or recording. No, the hyperdeck section of the ATEM software is for playing back, which hardly anyone does. Everyone uses them for recording. Okay. That's what I'm interested in. I'm interested in something like a hyperdeck to record. But then the question is, how do I get those recordings up to the cloud, right? So disk recorders, HyperDeck Studio Pro. I don't need 4K because I don't need it. Oh, yeah, gotcha. So includes all the features of the Plus model, adds 2 SSD slots as well as 2 SD card slots. Also includes machined metal search dial with clutch SDI monitor out XLR timecodes. So now, ISO recording. All models feature timecode and reference generators with outputs to loop out other hyperdecks. This means that you can build a rack of hyperdeck studios for ISO camera recording, allowing multi-camera editing after live events. You can even sync cameras to the SDI output, and the SDI inputs has frame sync. So with each of these hyperdecks, okay, this isn't a multi-camera recorder. Is that right? Let's look at the back. I'm sure it isn't. Or is it? Because it has a 10 gig input. Whoa, that's cool. 1 hyperdeck per camera, except for the 8K models. You need to think in several steps. The Blackmagic Cloud is to share. The access is in multiple locations. You first need something to record. Up to 1080 on ATEM Mini ISO is enough. ATEM Mini ISO really is the way to go. ATEM Mini ISO. Hyperdecks are mostly single channel, which is very dumb. Very few exceptions, but the hyperdeck can record to a cloud store device instead of an SD. I see. Okay. Only the bigger one is the multi-recorder. So we go down here. We're an SDI camp, so SDI ISO. Model includes the features of the ATEM SDI, plus it adds a built-in streaming and recording up to 5 video streams in real time. A clean feed from all inputs for multicam editing. A DaVinci Resolve project is saved so that you can open your live project to edit, remix audio, and add color correction. The mini SDI ISO specifically. So it's confusing to me. Why wouldn't Blackmagic make a multi-record ISO recorder that has storage space and can be linked to a cloud storage device? Instead of needing, like, I want a rack-mounted unit that can just take multiple channels over the network or over SDI or whatever the preference is, whatever they want, and just to be able to record all those channels simultaneously and then have those files available over cloud to share in multiple locations. That's really what I want. And it seems like I've got to buy 3 products to do the task of 1. But really, for workflow purposes, like I have a whole studio, right? I have a whole studio set up, and we're multiple cameras, multiple angles, cameramen, comm systems, everything. All right, we got all this working out, and it all comes into my constellation. And then what I want, though, is I want to be able to take each of those cameras and record them on a device, 1U, 2U, whatever is required. Kind of like an ATOMOS Shogun, right? ISO recording, 5 channels all at once with the click of a button, record. And then when I'm done, those files are available inside DaVinci in multiple locations for my editors and stuff to do. I don't want to, because then it seems like my whole production studio is separate from my recording stuff. And that's not really how this works. Like, typically, if you're going to produce something, you'll do it live or you record it, but like, you got to use your switching system to make all that happen. I'd love to be able to just capture that raw data, though, that we're having, because ultimately the setup would be, we show up, we hit record, all cameras, just recording at all times. We move some cameras around in various times to get different shots, but like, we record the whole thing. And then when I get home, I just load those timelines. I load those files into DaVinci, and I pick and choose how I want that to show. And then I render that out, and I'm done. So it seems strange to me that recording multiple cameras, ones in which, by the way, are theirs, like it's almost Blackmagic all the way through. Why recording multiple cameras to a single destination seems to be very hard to do. The Mini can record 4 channels, and the Extreme can do 8. Hey, perhaps they will. I've been taking baby steps, but the cloud stuff is pretty new. The 2110 distraction notwithstanding. I keep thinking that they will, but they're totally happy for you to buy 3 products instead of 1. Yeah, that's the truth. I'm sure that is the plan. All right, John. Now, all that being said, you could record it onto SSDs with an ATEM ISO. Then just take the SSD home, plug it in, and it's just there. Done. Easy. Click, unplug, plug it in. See, that's kind of what we're doing already, other than the ATEM ISO. Yeah. Yeah, it's just a shame. It's just a shame because I want what I want is a single unit. But historically, if you're doing post-production, you don't use a switcher and have a whole process for DIT, or you switch it live and record it just for archival purposes. I've done exactly that for the past couple of weeks. It's a single piece of media. It's not even SD cards. It's so simple. To add to Angus's point, you can also pull those files across FTP. Fascinating. Yeah. Let me think. Okay, well, anyway, I don't need to think quietly on stream. But this is all a very interesting workflow idea. I didn't even really think about having the cloud access here until today. But man, that would be nice to not even have to worry about whether or not I'm going to have the files, or I remembered the files, or I forgot the files, or what. But it would be just nice to have. Now, it's not necessary, but the key here is the ISO recording for each of the channels. If we're saying where are we here? The mini can record 4 channels. The extreme can do 8. So if we're going here, extreme ISO, then custom control solutions, because this is the one that I would need. Edit live productions with the separate ISO recordings. The ATEM Studio ISO and Extreme ISO models allow you to edit your live event, as they can record multiple video streams, including clean feeds, all inputs and programs, all at the same time. Media pool images used are also saved with the video files, and the video files includes meta tags such as sync time codes, camera numbers, image. Imagine re-editing your show with new color grades, effects, and graphics. Even the audio sources are all recorded, so you can professionally remix your audio. At the seminary that I work for, we can record in the studio while I'm at home, controlling it all from here, and then I pull the full session across the internet back to me to edit. It is very, very cool. You can record directly to a Blackmagic cloud from the ATEM. You can record directly to Blackmagic Cloud from ATEM SDI ISO. That's interesting. It's so funny that we would get something like this, but really not only use it for the ISO recording function, which, what is it, $1,500 or something like that? So, like, that's an investment in that function. That, and then you're going to need SD card or hard drives. How many hard drives does it have, or like spots for hard drives does it have? Come on, I just want to see a picture of the back of it. Come on. Okay, fine. Let's just go to tech specs. ISO Extreme. Here we go. All right, USB-C. Looks like it has 2 ports for that function. Streaming, recording. Direct recording. USB-C Gen 1 expansion port can record directly to external media. Is it only one port? Steve, man, are you still using the ATEM ISO as a cloud store and it syncs to your cloud store at your place? As I've been saying here today, you need an ATEM SDI Extreme ISO. It's really excellent for this purpose. It makes editing the program so dang easy. Yep, cut your show on the ATEM, then just pop the project into Resolve and recut as needed. You can VPN into the remote network and copy files. Chad. Oh, this is so now this is like a totally different angle to even considering, because like before I was considering those studio. So the title of today's show, right? Blackmagic Studio HD Plus. What about those things? Can they? All right, let's go back here. Open this in a new tab. So streaming and encoding. Nope, sorry. Disc recorders. These guys, these Studio Pluses, they can record individual cameras, right? But like the price point is $500. So yeah, it doesn't make too much sense, and they're only SD cards. But if then, Chad, I'm still going old school FTP over VPN, slower than optimal, but it still works very well. The minis can have one USB, and extenders have two. I have tail scale on everything. It's so useful. I don't know what that is. Cut your show remote into home and have it start transferring the files over. Then everything is there by the time you get home. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't need that. I wouldn't need it that fast. You can, instead of buying 8 HyperDecks Plus instead of the ATEM ISO and accomplish the same thing. Wait, sorry. You can, instead of buying 8 HyperDeck Pluses, you can instead buy 8 HyperDeck Pluses instead of the ATEM ISO and accomplish the same thing. Oh, I see what you mean. But that will definitely cost more. Okay. Fascinating. What an interesting workflow idea. Other than the form factor, like I really wouldn't need this. I wouldn't need it for anything other than the ISO function. But you're right. The price makes a lot of sense here. Yeah, the price makes a lot more sense to do something like this. And then I get my function. I get, the ability to record 8. I could come out of the studios because the studio converters, on the back of the studio converters, there's an additional SDI output, right? So Tailscale is a super handy point-to-point VPN. You can access your stuff from anywhere without port forwarding. Oh, fascinating. That is very handy. All right, I'll look into that because, like I said earlier, I do have a project that might include that. I'm telling you, man, rack shelf it. You'll never have to touch it again. And then inside the ATEM software, actually, we could probably do this. So we could add Blackmagic ATEM. Oh, so device. Is it called? Yeah, okay, SDI. Extreme ISO. Save. And then if I go to buttons, I just want to see. Oh my gosh, there it is. Record toggle. All right. All right. Well, I think that makes the most sense in terms of what we need to do next, because sorry, I can create this button. I've added this just as a pretend, and if I type in record, or if I type in ISO for that matter, and go down here, enable disable ISO recording. I mean, that's where it's at, man. Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, so that's okay. That's certainly cheaper than what I was planning on doing before. And it makes sense. I do need to verify that on the back of the studio converters that there is an output. I'm quite certain there is. But products, cameras, 6K, studio converters. We are going, oh yeah, camera out. Main camera feed supports. Hang on here. Oh yeah, there's two here. So yes. All right, so we're in good shape. Interesting. Very fascinating. So you can put it in a rack and configure Companion to start recording with a one-button record. Yes, that's what I would really want to do. And if you get one of those cloud docks and stick an SSD in it, you USB to that. You USB that into the ATEM ISO, and Bob's your uncle. Oh boy. Oh boy. All right. So this is now we're getting somewhere, man. Now we're getting somewhere. So this would now basically be the same price as what I was planning on doing, because the cloud unit hang on, I got to see the back. Let's go tech specs here. The back of that cloud storage. Where is it here? Oh, here it is. Mini. Now this unit, cloud dock. Okay. So this guy maybe. No. So hang on though. If you USB into the ATEM, ISO, Bob's your uncle. But on the back of the Cloud Dock 2 and Cloud Dock 4, the only USB-C that's in there, it says Ethernet for USB-C. Ethernet via USB-C. And on the pod, there are two disk buttons for the pod. So that's, I think, what we're referring to, right? That means that you could either cloud sync it or pull the drive out and take it home. That's your choice. Okay, as long as so that USB port, device control, USB-C or Ethernet for configuration software updates. Can it take in, though? That it doesn't seem that this unit. Or are you referencing? No, you can't be referencing the Ethernet port, right? Ethernet port. There's an Ethernet port on each. Switching media format, yada, control. How do you connect? You said USB. If you get a cloud dock, put an SSD in it, you USB into the ATEM ISO. But the USB ports on these things all say Ethernet via USB. So, yeah, that piece I have questions about. But I'm tracking with you so far. So ATEM SDI, Extreme ISO, all your cameras SDI going into that. And then the other version of the dock have USBs, but the ATEM can record over Ethernet as well. Okay. So here's what I'm looking at, right? So yeah, Ethernet, 10 gig Ethernet right there. There were other non-cloud docks that were USB. So this is the Blackmagic Cloud Dock 2. And it says Blackmagic dock has two 10 gig Ethernet ports and an Ethernet port over USB in a half-width single rack unit, making it highly portable network storage that's perfect for high-end film and television use. You can sync files globally using Blackmagic Cloud, plus view all storage, connection, and sync activity in real time on a display connected to an HDMI monitor. Okay, so HDMI out is for monitoring the storage. This is for connecting storage to cloud. So how do we sync the ATEM SDI ISO? Can this just do cloud though? Can the ATEM connect to? There's no cloud verbiage on the ATEM website. The Ethernet supports base Ethernet used for direct connection between panel and chassis or via the network. ATEM Extreme ISO also supports direct USB connections. Okay. All right. Well, this would definitely be interesting to try, because this would answer my question when it comes to recording ISO for all my cameras and then dumping all those files on a hard drive. Now, the next question is, how big does that hard drive need to be, right? And then if I need to connect this to this or something bigger, then, we have this option as well. But this is great, like $600. That may work just fine. Hey, my ATEM ISO is 1,700 miles away, or I would check it for myself. Yeah, I don't need to know that badly. Just hold off on that. Interesting indeed. All right, well, Blackmagic Cloud Dock 2 lets you share two independent SSDs over high-speed 10 gig Ethernet. Just plug the SATA or the SSDs or extreme performance U2 disks for incredibly fast file reading and writing. You can also sync files globally using Blackmagic Cloud, plus view all storage, connection, and sync activity in real time on the display connected to the HDMI port. Because my ATEM showed up as a recording destination when I was scrolling through my Ursa and my Hyperdeck. Okay. Fascinating. This is all really good stuff. And now I think I've got better questions. At the very least, we get a large USB SSD and plug it into the ATEM ISO, and then we have all 8 channels. And then whether or not, hey, check the compatibility of the SSD charts really carefully. Don't get it wrong. Hey, there's a tidbit that you may not have gotten anywhere else. What is the requirements? Where are they here? This is so cool. Question, do I need one of these devices on both ends? Or just on one end? I'm assuming just on one end, right? Distribute files globally with Blackmagic Cloud. How much? Why is this unit cheaper than the other ones? Or no, it's probably more because it has a built-in, right? Storage map. Cloud sync status shows each sync folder as well as transfers to and from Blackmagic Cloud or Dropbox. When new files appear in any sync folder, you can see this transfer status. Both, I believe. Okay, so you need one on both sides. Really just one end. If you know how to Samba or Windows file share, it will connect. Oh, interesting. But you don't need one, like, it would make sense, right? If you had one on each end, both of them at hard drive, then when files go on one, they get transferred to the other. But one on each end can be good if you don't want to leave your computer on 24/7. For example, Samsung T7, T7 2TB SSDs won't work with the ATEM ISO. 7T Shield 2TB SSDs work perfectly. Interesting. Small difference, large problems. Hey, in fact, you can SMB direct from Windows directly into the ATEM. Oh, interesting. That is interesting. Honestly, I want it to just be pretty simple. And yeah, I probably don't want to leave. I don't want to leave my computer on all the time. So I do shut it down in the evening. Well, I sleep it in the evenings. But it would be nice, like if we upload files on Sunday, we're done at noon or done at 11. Then my units sync, right? And then Monday morning when I sit down, all the files are here. That would be stellar. So maybe the plan would be to do like a couple of these. So here's a workflow I've seen. ATEM SDI ISO recording to a USB-C SSD. Drive afterwards is connected to a Blackmagic Cloud pod. That syncs to a Cloud pod and SSD remotely. Okay. So that is a little more hands-on than I want. What I would love is to hit record on the ISO, and then when I stop the ISO, it just does its thing, right? But so if I had a ATEM SDI ISO recording that was plugged directly into a Cloud Dock 2, this guy, could the files be written onto that hard drive? And then on my side, I have a Cloud Pod with an SSD that's attached to it, or a Cloud Dock 2 with a drive in it, and they just sync over when I'm done. Is that possible? I'm just curious. The Cloud Store can sync while recording, so you don't need to wait to hit stop. You'll be 25% uploaded by the time you leave. Yeah, that's all well and good, except we're live streaming, so I don't necessarily want it to be happening while I don't want it to be syncing up while we're doing it, but it'd be great if as soon as I'm done, then the sync starts. Hey, that SMB connection works over Tailscale. There you go. It's simple as can be. Chad says yes. So that's what I want to do then. Yes, I believe that that will work. That's what I want to do. I want one of these on my side, one of these on the other side. I want the ATEM ISO Extreme. I want them working together so that when we start, I hit ISO record. The whole thing gets recorded. All of the channels go up. They all get recorded over here, and then I can have access to all those files on this side. Man, that is pretty stinking cool. Where do I find, maybe Angus, where do I find the specs on the SSD requirements for the Blackmagic units and for the ISO, for the ATEM SDI? Because I'd like to get this up and running sooner than later, because I'd like to start doing more recording soon. But, I haven't honestly really known like what it is that I need to do. And if I can get it to where we can kind of get this automated, that would be amazing. So cool. Support tab, middle column. Support tab, middle column. So if I just type in SSD, search for Hyperdeck Extremes, ATEM Mini, and ATEM SDI recommended USB-Cs. Here we go. Thank you, sir. What SSD should I use for the ATEM SDI Extreme ISO? Okay, cool. Oh, so 870 EVOs. Oh, those are pretty common. I've never heard of this brand. Or maybe I have. I'm just not familiar. Western Digital. Probably looking for... drive should I use? The following USB-C drives are recommended. Oh, wait. What is this? What should I use? Hyperdeck high quality up to 60 frames. And then this one says following USBs. All right. So will 2 terabytes be sufficient? You know? Shield portable SSD, 2 terabytes, $150. Boy, that's really come down. Interesting. And then yeah, so here's what I'm looking at, right? Order within 31 minutes to get it today. Support tab, Blackmagic support. Chad beat me to it. The top is for USB-C. The bottom is for NVMe. Ah, there you go. USB-C drives are also a useful tab. Interesting. All right, and then let's type in SSD Cloud Dock. Nope. Did you mean Cloud Dock 2? Store manual. Max recommendation. Ethernet switch. NAB 23 update. DaVinci Resolve. Bigger drives in the USB-C tab. For how much time and how many sources? Well, I'd have 5 sources and probably need maximum 2 hours. So 120 minutes. Maybe let's say 180 minutes. the capacity is a non-negotiable part of that spec too. Oh, so when it says, shoot, did I close that? When it says 2 terabytes, you can't buy the 4 terabyte version. Is that what you're saying? Not network storage. ATEM switchers. Read more. Do they have anything bigger? Oh, here, 4 terabytes. 4 terabytes SanDisk Pro. And then, so 4 is the biggest they get. Do I dare? Pro Blade SSD mag. Pro Blade SSD mag right here, $300. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, that's so cool. Huh. It literally is a magazine. So you need the station, which is going to run you $500, and then you need the mag, which is going to be, wow, that's an expensive rig. I have used the T9 4 terabyte. Have no problems with 4 sources for 8 hours. My golly, the bitrate is configurable. Interesting. Okay, so we go back and we say, what'd you say? The T9? The 4 terabyte T9? Ooh, you're off spec. Right? Because it just says 2 here. T9 portable, 2 terabytes, but you're claiming you can get up to the 4 terabyte and it works fine. Woo, $300. My goodness. Okay. I don't need 8 hours, but yeah, that's interesting. So I could go for the 2. The 2 terabyte would be fine. This is so interesting. It's just like kind of fun to figure it out, you know? Okay. Well, this is really good info. I need to figure out this solution. Part of the problem that we have, here's some of the main reasons why. I'd like to Here's some of the main reasons why I want to get this set up is we do a live production on Sunday morning, right? But oftentimes my cameramen not often my cameramen are great. Oftentimes I screw up when to switch between cameras, or I screw up like when the start of a song is going to happen, or when we should have switched to the musicians or whatever, right? So what I really want to do is, what we're doing right now is we're just cutting the music portions out of our service and we're posting those, like we're saving those for later. But I want to up the ante on those on a weekly basis, meaning that I want to get those files and fix those songs. But then I also want to, like if we ever do like a, sit down interview, or we ever do a conversation, or we ever do maybe a secondary style of teaching, or I don't know, there's like endless things that you could be doing where I have multiple cameras. I want to go back and I want to polish it and make it like a real video. That's where this is really going to shine. And on a weekly basis, the music thing is a big deal. Or if we really screw up something on if we really screw up something with the actual video, then the actual output, then we could re-render it and have a clean copy of it, because we're trying to make it to where we're not just recording what happened in the moment, but we actually have the option to go back and fix it. So not that we will need that all the time, but we have the option. Hey, as long as you stay below 2,000 megabits per second write speed, it's fine. Yeah, interesting. I went off spec once and I just straight up wouldn't even recognize the drive. Daniel says about 300 gigs. Sounds like extreme ISO is a great answer for you, since either generate the resolve project as you go. Wait. Since it can generate the resolve project as you go. Editing, so easy. It's so fast. See, that I'm very interested in. Yeah, you need to be cutting on the ATEM ISO. All right. Well, I'll discuss it with the guy that has the money, and perhaps we'll get some things ordered, because I don't need to wait until NAB. You know, maybe there's something coming, but this seems to, like, this will probably work and will integrate already with the system that I have. So, yeah. Hey, does anybody know how to make a button flash through Companion on their X keys? So I want to, like, flashing red is what I want, right? To indicate recording or to whatever. Is there a way to do that, or is that a pipe dream? To send feedback commands to turn off and on every second or 2 seconds or 3 seconds or whatever. Has anybody ever seen something like that? If I jump over to that Companion screen real quick, you know, like I have my video. These are all my cameras, for example, that are across the top of the board. Well, there are other buttons, you know, like these ones, for example, that I would love to show which one is active, but I don't know how to make a button flash in the feedback function. And so if we just take I don't know if it can be done, you know, feedback. Yeah, has anybody done that? Because I would be very interested in knowing how to enable that, so that those buttons, I mean, I would do it for like all my cameras. I would do it for a whole bunch of things and have those buttons actually flashing. But I don't know if there's a way to enable that. I guess I haven't really done too much research, but I don't know if anybody's ever done that. If you know how. Maybe there's like a module or something. Oh, that's funny. I typed in Companion X keys and my video from Bird Dog John Days came up. Wow. Published September 27th, 2023. So there's very few resources out there. X keys red backlight will respond to program feedback, and when the red value of the background color is above 125, the button light will go on. This feature is particularly useful in Companion, where the X keys can be used to create custom feedbacks. If the button on the X keys is flashing, it may be due to the device being in a specific mode, such as Bluetooth or 2.4 gig mode, although there's more commonly associated with keyboards. In the context of X keys, flashing buttons are more likely related to a programmed feedback. Yeah, I want to know how to do that. Anybody? You can create a hidden button on a loop and tie it to a toggle button. You could create a hidden button. A hidden button on a loop and then tie it to a toggle button. Okay. So how do I create a hidden button? Hidden button. Let's just say internal check status. Oh, well, check value. No. Okay. Let's not do this on here. Let's do this on mine, because then I can see it happening. So if I open Companion here, Whoops, that's not companion. Launch companion, yoink. Here's my version of companion. And I go to buttons. You can see I have my X keys. All right, so let's try just briefly. You have to create a hidden button. Create a hidden button. How do I create? You just mean like off screen like this? So create a button on a loop. Rotary actions? No. Progress delayed. I'll have to think about that. Your description is useful. How do I put it on a loop? There's no option here, right? VLC loop. You can add a duration. So I'm assuming what you mean is, maybe this. Remove, feedback. Where's the internal options here? I just want to like do this. Check step. Use other button when pushed. Check status. Okay, so I think I understand. Yeah, I think I get what you're getting at there. Okay. All right, let me think this through because I think I could make that happen. And then that would be great. If I could flash the buttons on the X keys, that would be ideal. Because I want to be able to show which one is active and which one is not. And it's really annoying that they're all just kind of on. But like if I need to draw someone's attention to a button, I need that sort of thing. So that would be, I think I might do that. Anyway, it is almost 1:00 here in Tennessee, and so I really need to get on down the trail. And so I really appreciate everybody coming along. This was a really long show, and you've opened my eyes to a lot of options. And so we've been able to explore ISO recording, and I'm going a different path than what the title of this topic really was. Special shout out to the regulars in the chat, Chad, Stephen, Daniel, Angus. You guys have made this quite an interesting conversation, and so much appreciated. That will go a long way. I'll let you know kind of what gets decided. But yeah, thanks guys. This has been really cool to kind of talk about and sort out, and all of the, hey, be careful about the SSD transfer rates and be careful about this and that. All really good. And so really enjoyed this conversation, and I'm pretty excited about maybe the possibilities of what we can do with some of this information. So thank you, everybody. Appreciate that. You guys have a great day. You too, Angus. Thanks for the fun hangout. Yeah, as always, it's always fun to sit around and talk about ideas and look at examples and see. And this is exactly what I was hoping that this would be. So again, you guys have made this a lot more interesting than I could ever do on my own. So big shout out to you guys in the chat. Stephen, thanks again. Appreciate you, man. Always good to have a community to think this stuff through. Agreed. And that's mostly what this is. So if you guys have questions as well, feel free to send those over. I can make a show about those, or we can set up a time to talk about those with the group. I think that that's always useful dialogue. And then we can definitely walk through, what people got going on. So take care of yourselves out there, everybody. I always appreciate you. Thanks for spending some time with me today. It's going to be a busy-ish day, but looking forward to the weekend. My kids actually have a 3-day weekend, so we might try and do something fun. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already over on YouTube. And I'm also on Twitch if you'd like to follow me there. So take care of yourselves, everybody. It has been a blast, and we'll see you. I meant see you in the next one. Bye, guys.